Hello everyone, welcome back. It's another beautiful day here at Big Cat Rescue. And my name's Lisa. I'm a volunteer here at Big Cat Rescue. Those of you that have been with us this week, thank you very much for the support. Those of you who are new today, welcome. We are going to be visiting some cats and talking about some issues around big cats and why we have the mission that we have here at Big Cat Rescue. I would also like to give a shout out to any of my friends from Fox Hollow Elementary School who might be out there watching today. If you're out there, hello.
Did they see you in the parade this morning?
Hopefully, some of them did. I was on the lookout. We had a car caravan through our neighborhood around our school just to try to say hello and say we miss you to some of our students and families. So
I thought that was so sweet.
It was very, I didn't realize how much I missed the kids till we did that, and then I got a little choked up actually when I saw some of their little faces. So you get used to that and they get used to us. We're really a community, so just as we are here at Big Cat Rescue, I might add. So at least one of my communities is intact right now. Sorry, I'm going to try to protect the microphone as we go.
Get into the woods here so it won't be so bad. So do you want to give an idea of a lineup of what we're going to try?
So hopefully this is keep in mind a flexible plan. We are going to try to find Gilligan today. He has been a little reluctant to come out. It's a little hot. He's a Canada lynx, so the cooler weather definitely makes him a little happier. Hopefully we'll see him, maybe Pharaoh, who is one of our servals, and we hope to check in with some of our hybrid cats and maybe take a peek at the kitten cabana. Shiloh out.
You might want to let them know that we don't breed.
Yeah, you're saying, what is the kitten cabana? It is not wild kittens. These are domestic kittens. We have a partnership with the Humane Society of Tampa, and we foster kittens here until they're old enough for adoption. I see in sort of the royal way, it's actually our interns who live here on property that do the fostering. And we do have an amazing group of interns, for those of you that don't know. If you ever happen to come to Big Cat Rescue, they're the ones wearing the bright blue t-shirts. And they are young people who live on property and work very hard to ensure that everything that needs to happen here at the sanctuary happens. Anything from feeding to cleaning to giving tours to working in the gift shop, they do it all, and they foster the kittens. So shout out to the interns because they really are the backbone here at Big Cat Rescue.
That means sometimes they're up every 4 hours feeding those babies because they have to eat around the clock if they don't have a mom. You want to go see if we can find...
We're going to try to find Gilligan. Wish us luck.
Tell us if you spot him, you guys.
What's the best?
No idea. I didn't see...
I know a couple of his spots. I know he likes to get down in those rocks over there, and he likes to get in here, sometimes in the ferns, so...
And he has an air-conditioned den, but he doesn't use it that much, even when it's really hot.
No, he doesn't seem to. All right, we're going to see if I remember how to do this from yesterday. Those of you that were with us yesterday, I'm having on-the-job training here with.
I think that one you can actually get with this. So
like this?
Nope,
yeah. Oh, with both. I see what you did. Yeah. I'm getting lots of on-the-job training this week. This is what I'm doing in the midst of Corona. I did, and that was the first time I've been in the hospital since my volunteer orientation. That day, Howard gave us a tour, which was very sweet of him as part of that first orientation I did. Have not been in since. Unfortunately, I can't come in and help on Medical Mondays usually because I'm usually at...
I was just wondering, what happens if you guys brought in for Medical Monday?
There you go. So perhaps in the summer. Or who knows? The situation we're in right now, everything is very fluid at this moment.
As you guys can see, he's got paths all over the place where he could be down in between the ferns.
Gilligan. Maybe down in there. See the rocks? I always get fooled by the rocks because he's just about that color of gray. I think I see him and then I don't. A nice view of his feeding lockout here. For those of you that are new to us today, I'll take a moment to explain about that. So this is just what it sounds like. It's their feeding lockout. This is where breakfast is placed every morning, or any other, if they get an afternoon snack, any other kind of food that they might get. So the concrete slab that you see is like their breakfast plate. And then you see the water dish. The water dish has a white tile on top of it that helps to reflect the sun and slows evaporation. Also keeps debris from getting into their water. And I learned this week that the reason it's that the height it is to keep them from peeing in their water. Fun fact. So you'll notice that there's a door attached to that pulley. And what that does is allow the feeder to place that food in there safely. That door can be lowered so that Gilligan's on the other side of it. And then when that food has been placed safely, it's going to be like this. I'll just model for you. They drop the food like so through the cage wire. And then once that's been done safely, then from the outside of the enclosure, notice I said never inside the enclosure with the cat, that they pull that door up and let Gilligan in. And I do know about Gilligan that he likes to take his food and run. He doesn't sit in his lockout usually. He can grab something, usually like a chicken drum or whatever really choice morsel that he has, and he'll run into those ferns and work on it for a little while.
How often do they clean the lockout and water bowls?
Oh, every day. And there is a system of check and double check. So whoever's job it is to feed, somebody will come around, usually the same person for feeding, I believe. They'll come around and double check and make sure the cat has eaten everything. Just like us and just like domestic cats, everybody eats at their own pace. Some people eat very quickly, some take longer. I know my two house cats, one of my cats scarfs it right down, the other one takes her time, comes back for seconds. So you want to make sure that there's no food left, and if there is, it's weighed. So they want to make sure that they have an accurate measurement of how much food the cat is eating each day. And then once that's been done and checked and double checked, then the cleaners come around. And then they are double checked also. So the system here is foolproof, really. It's amazing to me. It's like a well-oiled machine. Everybody knows their job, and nothing is left to chance.
It took a few years to get it right.
I'm sure. It's as many things are, they're trial and error. But just so you know out there that we have never had a cat escape from an enclosure. And we've been very fortunate during bad weather and hurricane season that we have never had any enclosures compromised. So these are very well constructed, and they're purposefully designed. This rounded shape that we call bubbles, that is actually aerodynamically designed. And what that means is that the wind can pass through in such a way that it's not going to cause damage.
So maybe we can try his other side.
Yeah, I'm standing here yak, 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 hoping he's going to come out.
Yeah, not to the sound of us, he's not.
But he's not so interested in me. I really would love for you to get to see him. He's a very beautiful cat. And I'll tell you a little bit about a Canada lynx while we're walking. Like the name suggests, they mostly live in the northern U.S. and Canada, in North America, and they are ideally synchronized with snowshoe hare. So it's a completely symbiotic relationship. Those populations rise and fall together. So hopefully he will be out and you'll get to see his massive paws that act like snowshoes. Unfortunately, Gilligan never got a chance to be in Canada and hunt snowshoe hare because he was kept in captivity his whole life.
His favorite place.
I know. I'm checking it out. I don't see him. Sometimes he hides behind that tree, but I'm not thinking today. All right, we may be out of luck for Gilligan today. I understand, I'm not going to take it personally. I understand he's been very elusive, even for people with food. So that tells you something right there.
We can go peek around the back there and see if we can see him up in the den. Sometimes they'll lay in that tunnel there. So
oh, okay.
Blows on him.
Oh, that makes sense.
There you can see the back of his den with the AC up there.
Again, all these new experiences. Normally, this yellow shirt I'm wearing, that indicates what level I am as a volunteer. And at this level, I don't go behind the barricade.
So if
unless I'm with Carol.
If we were going to see him, he
oh,
would be
right
in there.
Okay.
I mean, we could open that door back there, but I don't want to freak him out.
Right.
if that's what he's doing.
We're trying to see if Gilligan will make an appearance.
Well, I have one even better for him.
Ah, she has a
Does he
sickle.
like sickles?
He usually does.
So those of you that don't know what a sickle is, much like we like popsicles when it's hot, but the cats like a different kind of flavor of sickle. It looks like this one is, I can't tell from there. Is that tuna? No, blood. It's a blood sickle, and that's pretty much what it sounds like. When we do food prep, red meat, the blood that is left over when that process is done is carefully saved and changed into a frozen treat. Doesn't sound so yummy to us, but if you're a cat, it's delicious. That sound that Stephanie's making, that's a very common Gilligan sound.
Otherwise known as Michael Jackson.
Oh. The magic of sickles.
So you may have seen that den that he has is made out of the same material you would use for a freezer box so that it stays nice and cool in there.
Well, I can do one better and I can get Zukari out. If you want to do that.
Aww. Sure. I always love Zukari.
Let's go.
So it was before my time, but I believe that that was constructed for snow leopards, correct? Yeah.
He'll come. He always comes.
All right, so we had no luck with Gilligan. So we're going to try our luck with Zukari, who is a serval. Very different, kind of an opposite habitat here. African servals are native to Africa, obviously. So the opposite of a snowy climate, and he would not have been hunting snowshoe hare. But again, Zukari never spent a moment in the wild, has never been to Africa and experienced what it means to be really a serval. He has only been kept in captivity, and he was rescued from a breeder in Ohio. Unfortunately, people like to keep exotic cats as pets, and not just full servals, but also hybrids, which are an African serval and a domestic cat hybrid.
So he was all the way down at the end, and he's just sauntering
I
up,
just like, let
taking
me
his
come
time.
get my sickle.
Yeah, there's the sleepy boy.
Ah, here he
There's
comes.
the sleepy boy. Yeah, now you're excited.
Ah. Zukari is young. He's our youngest serval here at Big Cat Rescue. He's about 4 years old, going on 5. He says, but I'm on TV. Hello.
Big boy.
He's probably hoping for some.
Yeah, he's going. Notice he's going into his lockout. He's thinking, well, maybe if she has a sickle, there might be another yummy on the way. But it never hurts to try, right, Zukari?
Let's get Flip.
And you will notice that Stephanie did not go in the enclosure and hand that sickle to Zukari. If you've ever seen Zukari at feeding time, that is not something any of us would ever want to do. He can be quite aggressive and grabby and jumping.
Are you going to save it for later? It's not going to last.
Hey, buddy.
Would you like us to give you your privacy?
You ready, my boy?
We can get out this way, right?
So if you look at how that snaps, that'll be a clue as to how to snap it back.
Uh-huh, I'm looking. Okay.
I think the problem's been I've been taking them off and then handing it to
Yeah.
you. Like, "Rah!"
But it's at a little bit of a weird, I can be taught. I'm trying. Okay, and then it was the same way. Is it all the way shut? Yes. Oh, we get to see Flint again. Those of you that were with us on our first live this week, we started with this young fellow. His name is Flint. He's a bobcat.
Blue.
But remember the interns we talked about. There you go. An intern in his natural habitat. So Flint is our youngest bobcat, and he is getting ready to celebrate a birthday soon on March 31st. He'll be 1 year old.
Thank you for participating. Or lack of their participation.
Exactly.
That's that, right?
So those of you that weren't here with us on Sunday, I'll tell you a little more about Flint. Flint was a rescue, and he went through our bobcat rehabilitation program, but unfortunately he was not able to graduate. So to explain a little more about that bobcat rehabilitation is for bobcats who've been rescued from the wild, so they have never been in captivity, and therefore they can be rehabbed and re-released successfully. In his case, injuries suffered by being caught by hunting dogs who were tracking wild boar. But unfortunately, after some vet visits here, it was discovered that he was not going to be able to pass whole prey. So if you think about how cats eat, oh, this is adorable. He's going to play with it first before he eats it. If you think how cats eat in the wild, they don't have their food prepared for them, like the way we feed the cats here at Big Cat Rescue most of the time. They do have to hunt and chase their prey, and they eat the whole thing. It's not cut up for them and served on a plate, so he is not going to be able to pass that whole animal, bones and so forth, through his digestive system. So sadly, we have to keep him here at Big Cat Rescue. We do have a very successful program, though. I believe close to 50 bobcats already have been rehabbed and re-released. And if that sounds interesting to you, we have so many great videos. You can see our volunteers taking a bobcat out in their wooden crate and being released into the wild, and it's a very joyful experience to watch that.
And I'm paying attention to comments and half listening to you. I don't know if you talked about why they might bury their food. He was starting to bury that.
Right. Well, in the wild, that would keep it safe from other animals that might want to eat it. I don't know why nobody's interested in their sickles today. What's going on, Flint, huh? What's going on? You're not feeling like it today? No? He's going to do some cuteness for you here. Thanks for being so cute today. Aww. So if you don't know already, a bobcat's called a bobcat because their tail is bobbed or very short, so hence the name. And they are native across the United States and across North America, except for one state. We had this fun fact the last time, see if anybody remembers. The one state that's surrounded by water does not have any bobcats. And that would be Hawaii. You can see, oh look, he's going to attack your plant material. And I see your coolaroo now is completely turned upside down. My goodness.
Flew it right into the wall, didn't you?
He needs to clean up his room. He has not been keeping that room tidy.
Melissa said Hawaii.
Hawaii, good. Should we see if any luck with Pharaoh, since we're right here?
Tammy also said Hawaii.
She's going to test me
Said Hawaii.
on my clipping abilities here. Whoops, I'm getting stuck up. And probably if you get really good at it, you do it one-handed, right? That's when you've graduated to one-handed clipping. So Pharaoh is a very distinctive looking serval. If you remember what Zucari looked like, he is actually, Pharaoh is white. Maybe back there? There's one place that I always get fooled by something in his, yes, and I get, I think, is that, no, it's not. It's so easy to get fooled. So the reason that Pharaoh is white is because of something called leucism. And that's the same effect that creates a white tiger. And it is actually caused by inbreeding. So you can imagine that if Pharaoh was in the wild, that white coat would not be a very successful adaptation for him, for survival. In the same way that it is not a good adaptation for tigers. Tigers live mostly in the rainforest, forested areas against green, so that white is not going to be good camouflage. Pharaoh is 21 years old. That is like being, well, it's 6 years to 1 year for us, so well into his senior citizen discount right now.
One thing that's unique about Pharaoh is, and it was true of his two brothers too, they have one thumbprint of regular color on their body.
Oh yes, he's got
I think his
spot.
is on his hip.
Yes.
I don't see it on this side, so it must be on the other.
Yes, he did have a brother named Tonga who passed. It was shortly after I started volunteering, I think. I want to say 2018.
Yeah, Tonga had cancer, and he fought it for, I think, 5 years after they removed his nose to take the whole cancer. But he eventually succumbed.
It looks like a very nice, cool place there in your ferns, Pharaoh.
Where you can see everybody, but they can't see you.
So even though Pharaoh is white, he does do his best to camouflage here in his enclosure. Up there's his spot. Yep. Thanks for sharing that. I love his tiki hut over here too, that the volunteers built for him.
I love that tiki hut.
Everybody in Florida should have a tiki hut, right? Well, thank you for being out, Pharaoh.
Yeah. That was so polite of you not to hiss at us.
Yeah, exactly. Goodbye.
So is that a hybrid that I see there, or is that Mrs. Claus?
That looks like Simba. Yeah, want to go see Simba? Simba is another hybrid. That is the serval and the domestic cat that we spoke about. And in Simba's case, Simba was a pet for quite a long time, but he was in New York City and there was a move that had to happen and the apartment was not friendly to pets, so he had to come here and live with us. And we've had a lot of names of Simba. In fact, we have 2 right now. We also have a tiger named Simba.
And I believe Simba means lion, which is really funny.
Yes, I think it does. I think you're right. Hello. Hello. So my visitors. You can really see the markings if you think back to Zucari, the first serval that we saw. There's quite a similarity in the coat there, and even a little bit in the shape of the ears. And the back legs tend to be long, so it's understandable that people would admire such a beautiful cat as a serval and want to be able to own something beautiful. But really, these hybrid cats do not make good pets for lots of reasons. And the process that it takes to get a hybrid domestic cat that's involved, because you have to remember you're taking a wild serval, which is much larger than a domestic cat, and breeding with a domestic cat. So that's often not a good situation for the domestic cat. And that wild DNA is what, I can recover easily. That wild DNA is what is dominant. So the behaviors are not going to be what you want in a pet. Well, look at you up there in your little tunnel. Hi. Hello there.
They love those tunnels, and I think it's because the air can come up underneath their bellies. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, this is like living in the trees, but you got a nice flat bed.
That makes sense.
They're asking if we touch the cats.
Absolutely not. Good question. Oh, got a nice hiss there. Yeah, he's channeling his serval half right there. That's the greeting that you'll get from a serval, is that hiss. Servals are very aggressive. They have to be, because in Africa they would be competing with lions and leopards and much larger predators. So they have to have that big attitude to make up for their small size. So that hiss is like, watch out, don't mess with me, I'm going to get you. And they have a 50% success rate when they hunt. A lion has more like 10%. So another reason not to keep a serval in your house. especially if you have a ceiling fan, because they do like to catch birds and are very successful. They can jump quite high and catch birds out of the air.
Susan says even though she's been with us for 3 years and has heard every one of these stories over and over and over again, it just never gets old. So
Oh, well, thank you. You know, I feel the same way, Susan, as a volunteer. Even though I do tours many times, it's always fresh because the cats always do something a little different, and it's new people who maybe haven't heard our message and haven't seen the cats, and then you have people who have been here many times, so then that's always enjoyable too, to have regulars that come back. So I agree. All right, should we pass under? Could go to Tut.
okay.
You okay with that? With getting away from the cart? Okay. So there's some cleaning equipment over here, and I'll point out to you. So see that very long pole with the hook on the end? That's the scraper pole, and that is how items are safely removed from the enclosure. That's mainly to scoop poop, but also other bits of enrichment or anything that's in there that doesn't need to stay in the enclosure. And you notice it's very long. That is so that that can be placed safely, and they can have a range of area that they can scrape without themselves being in the enclosure. And then even once it's scraped over to the side, to the cage wire like here, they're still not going to put their hand through. They're going to use barbecue tongs. But don't worry, if we have a cookout, we have a different set. It's all good. I saw Running Bear yesterday. There he is. Ah.
Go back.
Yeah.
Running bear is
Yes, he's the grand old man, bobcat. Hello there.
I got more lead.
Yes. He looks very wise, doesn't he?
He's seen and heard it all.
Is Running Bear younger than Tiger Lily?
Yes.
Okay.
Tiger Lily.
She's the oldest, right? Yeah. He seems to be enjoying that breeze.
Getting it all on your belly, huh? Mm-hmm. Belinda says Lisa is a trip. Elena, if we pass by time, we'll see if we see her, but I think servals are our main focus today, servals and hybrids.
We just couldn't pass up saying hello to Running Bear since he was out. And of course, if Perfection's out, we will make a point of saying hello to her too. I have to say, I just love how feisty she is. I just think that's amazing. Up Tut's in his lockout. Hi, Tut. Hi. Did you hear a rumor that there were sickles being handed out? Huh? So if you look at King Tut, you'll notice that he doesn't look quite the same as the other hybrids that are serval hybrids. And I believe that he is a jungle cat, domestic cat hybrid. But he was basically abandoned with another cat on Feral Cat Day of all days, and ended up here at Big Cat Rescue. And I think he's very well named King Tut. He has that very Egyptian look to him. Yes, you do.
Tammy wants to know what kind of leopard Natalia is.
Amur. That's A-M-U-R. And that's a region in northern China bordering on Russia. So it gets very cold there and it snows. So if you would see Natalia, she's a little fluffier than our other leopards. And she's not a really big fan of Florida heat and humidity either.
You notice he got up and walked toward the golf cart because I was like, oh, good things always come on
The
golf carts.
golf cart is a good thing. It's too bad his enrichment's not still in here.
Yeah.
King Tut had some really cute enrichment. For those of you that don't know, we make paper enrichment for the cats. So save that cardboard and that tissue paper and anything else interesting that you might want to donate, we have some volunteers who make some really creative things, and it makes for really cute videos and photographs. So he had something called the Love Shack for Valentine's Day. And then he had something called Tut's Leprechaun Hut, just up until recently. Anyway, he was sitting right inside of it on one of my tours, and all my guests were excited. It was a very nice photo op.
He loves when he can get inside things. Just like your cats at home love to be in boxes.
Yeah, but the Leprechaun Hut is gone, huh? So I wonder what you're going to get for Easter. What do you think? You going to get an Easter basket? 'Cause I don't know. I can sometimes have a hard time finding him. He can blend in really well with all these leaves, the coloration. He's really good at finding little spots to hide out. Excellent camouflage. So this is still his enclosure as we're walking here. Has another one of those tunnels that we saw Simba laying in. Sometimes he likes to get back in this area too. Oh, she's out. Yay. Hi, Perfection.
It's another kill me spot we got to get into.
Uh-huh.
Watch your back with him while we get up and look at her.
All right, so this is Perfection. And Perfection is an ocelot. Isn't she just gorgeous? She is another one of our older residents, 24 going on 25. Amazing. They're just absolutely beautiful cats. But unfortunately, that beauty is their doom in many ways, because people thought either they would make great pets or they would make great coats. So unfortunately, for ocelots, they were pretty much wiped out in the southwest United States. Combination of habitat loss, which is another issue, and that hunting for coats. Another interesting fact about an ocelot, they have the strongest urine in the cat kingdom. It's really sticky and really stinky. So those rainforest cats have to have really powerful urine so it doesn't get washed away when it rains every day. It is always a treat to get this close and see how beautiful she is.
In South America, they refer to them as tree tigers.
And her tail is long in proportion to her body, so.
In case you need to see her tail, it comes down here.
Much like a leopard or other climbing cats.
Looks like a snake hanging out of there.
I don't know if I should share with the guests what her favorite pastime is.
You're the one that deals with kids. I usually call it like it is.
You know what, kids? This is nature. This is reality. She's really good at getting possums, and if they get in her enclosure, she gets them. And I just think it's incredible that she's got that much feistiness left in her when she's the age that she is. So any ideas where she might be native to? Actually, I think Carol already mentioned South America, so ocelots are Central South America. But again, another cat who's never been in the wild, only in captivity. That's going to be the story for most of the cats that you see today. Flint, the bobcat who we saw earlier, if you were with us, is the exception who came to us from the wild.
Actually, if you want to come up here and stand closer so they can hear me on your microphone.
Oh, okay. I was trying to give her. I respect the ocelot.
Perfection was actually born here 24 years ago, however long ago it was, because back then we were told that these animals should be bred and it was for conservation, and what the zoos were doing is trying to repopulate ocelots back into the U.S. And so they released a bunch of ocelots into Texas. But the problem was all of the ocelots that they used in their program had been from Central and South America, where their primary diet are snakes. But when they released him into Texas, they went after the snakes, which were all rattlesnakes, and it killed off all of the cats.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
And that's when everybody learned that these cats have regional instincts.
Uh-huh.
And so that's why none of these cats that are in private possession can ever be bred for release back to
No.
the wild, because they don't have any pedigrees. We don't know where
Right.
they came from.
Habitat matters. Yeah. I did not know that. I can hear Beecher. Did anybody else hear what sounded like a cat meowing? So he's calling to us, so we will say goodbye for now to this beautiful lady. And we're going to see if I can once again figure out how to unclip. I'm going to go for the one-handed this time.
That way you don't have all the wire in the way. All of this wire in the way.
Oh, wow.
Get you.
So as we make our way over to Beecher, I'm just going to point out the kitten cabana over here. And this is attached to a camera at explore.org. That is a 24/7 website. Are they in there? Where are you? Did they take you away already? Are they not out today?
Carmen said there were 5 in here.
I thought they were. Where are they? Where are you? Oh, they're all the way back there. I was going to say. I thought you were still out. Here they come. Say, oh, I didn't know there were people. People. Hello, little Jinx. Hello there. So if you need to get a kitten fix, you can go to explore.org, that website that I mentioned. It is 24/7 live feed. Now, I will say with the exception of this, because the kittens, we do not lock the door at night and say, bye kitty, see you in the morning. They do go back to residence with the interns. Hello there, sweetie. And then they bring them back in the morning. So I believe they play, like, what do you call that? Like pre-recorded, like archived footage
Yes.
overnight. I can't find the highlights. Thank you. I can't find the right term for it. So if you happen to fall in love with a kitten, watching on Explore, a way to adopt, don't come to Big Cat Rescue. We don't handle the adoptions. You would contact the Humane Society of Tampa Bay and tell them, I saw this really cute black and white kitten on the Explore camera, and tell them the date and approximately when you saw it.
And usually there's enough people in there that are calling out the names of the kittens so that you'll know which ones are which. I never know which one's which. But
All I know is this black one's name is Carl, and he's the only boy. And there's a Carol in there,
I heard that.
but I don't remember which one it is.
I hope she's fancy.
So this is another benefit of volunteering here, because that is something that they encourage the volunteers to do, is go in here and socialize the kittens, play with them, hold them, love on them. But I have to say, usually on Sundays when I'm here during normal times, we have 3 tours going on, 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and 3. So usually I'm doing well just to get the tours in. I don't always get the kitten time in. But once in a while I squeeze it in. Yeah. Okay, Beecher. Beecher's quite upset with us, as you can hear. He's like, why are you looking at the kittens? So as you heard, Beecher's meow is very domestic cat-like. But you can see those markings again. He's absolutely that serval domestic cat hybrid. And his story is interesting. His owner paid $15,000 for him. And if anybody ever asks me on tours, why are people doing this? I say $15,000. So there's, we are not for profit here at Big Cat Rescue. We are not giving tours in order to enrich ourselves. Everybody that's here, I shouldn't say everybody, maybe with the exception of like 12 people, is a volunteer or an intern. We are here for the cats. The money that is brought in is to help feed the cats, take care of the sanctuary, take care of any of the veterinary needs of the cats. So you can imagine that that expense is quite large. It takes at least $10,000 a year to feed one tiger, for instance. So getting back to Mr. Beecher. So his owner actually did even come and visit Big Cat Rescue before she purchased him to educate herself about savannah cats, and decided to purchase him anyway. Tried to keep him as a pet for 5 years. And he has been declawed on all 4 paws, which, if you know anything about declawing, is very harmful to the cats. It affects the way they walk and stand, so it can create a lot of issues. I think slowly states are starting to outlaw declawing even for domestic cats, which is a very positive step. You notice that he's chewing on a lot of plants. Another side effect of this hybridization is digestive issues. Savannah cats usually can't digest domestic cat food. And there is a process, I'm not sure because I wasn't here when Beecher arrived, but did they have to process him? Like, did he have a transition diet? Yeah.
A lot of the cats,
Yeah.
even the bigger cats, frequently have to go through a transition
Yeah.
because they've just been fed crap. wherever
Right.
they've been.
Yeah, you can't go from a bad diet to, 10 pounds of red meat, the next day. That would wreak havoc on any of us if we changed our diet that drastically. So Beecher is very happy. He just has been in this lakefront property here for, has it been a year now? I'm trying to remember how long it is, and maybe not quite a year. Max and Marianne Bobcat used to be in here, some of you who have visited us before, so we do change enclosures from time to time, move the cats around. It's another form of enrichment.
Susan wants to know if they're sterile because they're hybrids.
Oh, I don't know the answer to that, but I
Generation males are.
think are the first generation males are. Okay, so I learned something too. I love the black on the back of his
The stripe.
back feet there, just
Oh.
that solid, yeah.
Like black-footed
I
cats.
noticed that before. He says, okay, I came out. I gave you some time. Now I'm done. All right, did one of our guests mention wanting to see somebody in particular? We can go that direction. I have to say, I know it was not good, but I loved Tom Tom's mohawk when she got here. she had been very matted, and so it looked like she had a mohawk, and it was very sweet. And I don't suppose Breezy would be out either. Wow, every once in a while I see her in those ferns right there.
They just framed her perfectly there when she was
Yeah.
out front.
So we're looking across the lake here. You can see Jasmine Tiger up on top of her platform. You can see Simba a little bit in the opening of his den there. Let's see Sapphire.
You know about our solar and all of our
Ooh, yes.
from renewable sources.
Solar power. So this solar array that provides the power to, I believe, regenerate, recycle, whatever the correct term is, for the water that goes through from the lake. So yeah, solar is definitely the way to go. Hopefully in the future we're going to be seeing more of that. And this is Tom Tom. I keep forgetting I'm allowed to go through the gate.
We also partner with Arcadia Power, and we pay a little bit extra. It's about $0.25 extra per meter per month, so it's not much. But all of our power is supplied from renewable sources as a result. I think you have to cross. Oh, look at you, you got it. Okay.
Maybe. Okay. Yes. Snap. Usually she's in this den over here when I've seen her.
I caught her doing the weirdest thing the other day. She was just walking around one of those posts and just kept going around.
I saw her do that one time as well. It's been a while. Oh, she's got a num-num. You've got a num-num.
We'll give you some space.
Yeah.
Have to zoom in.
So I assume those are some mats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm guessing she doesn't let us comb her. And it's really dangerous to sedate the cat, so unless
Right.
they were like really pulling on her skin, we wouldn't sedate her just for cosmetic stuff, but once it starts pulling, then we'll have to. And she's like ancient too.
She's old, yeah. She's well over 20, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Sedating those old cats just scares me to death.
Yeah. Aw, sweet girl. What are you having? Can't tell from here. So she came from California, along with Shiloh and Filmo, who are also bobcats, and Mauser, who's a savannah cat. And they were at a place in California. The volunteers flew out, picked them up, rented a van, and drove all the way from California to Florida.
Elena asked if she lets us scratch her with the scratcher for those mats, but I don't think so.
No. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, we do have like cat mat scratchers that are on a handle, of course, and some of the older cats do get those mat scratches done. Some of the keepers who are at the level to be able to do that. So there is a process here if you volunteer that you go through. We don't have a volunteer come in and the next week they're feeding a tiger. It doesn't go that way. There's quite a rigorous training program. And I am on what's called the partner side, and then you have the keeper side. So the partner side is mainly giving tours and doing educational outreach events and working in the gift shop. And that side interests me as an educator, but the keeper side I'm getting a little more exposure to since we're not having school right now. I'm finding myself with more time. So I've gotten to do some food prep and cleaned the hospital today. I've been doing some raking and just all sorts of things. But I would still, even though they need help, they would not throw me in and have me do cleaning or feeding because I have not been trained in that.
And Savannah wants to know what kind of cat she is.
She is a bobcat. So you can tell a bobcat by that little short tail, and it's mostly white with just a little bit of black on the tip. Bobcats and lynx are often can be confused, but lynx are usually quite a bit bigger and they have very prominent ear tufts. The tip of their tail is going to be solid black. So I hope whoever wanted to see Tom Tom is still with us. Maybe we can go see Mouser.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's a gate right here.
Goodbye, sweetness. Looks like you did a good job. Almost the whole thing. Good job. Okay, I'm paying attention to that one. Oops. Do a spin. I haven't seen Max and Marianne in quite a while since they moved from where Beecher is now to back here.
You know, they were always so people-centric. I thought that they would come down here when
Right.
the tours came up. But the only time I see them is if I go like out almost at dark, and then they'll come flying out of the brush and try to scare you.
Max is out. We'll say hello to Max Tiger as we pass on his platform. It looks like he's a little zoned out right now. Hello, sweet boy. Hello. So those of you that don't know, Max Tiger came to us from Guatemala with Simba and Kimba Tiger. They were rescued from a circus, and that process took about 18 months from start to finish. So you can imagine trying to do an international rescue is quite a bit more involved than within the United States. Oh, Kimba's watching us from a distance. Kimba is the youngest. He's 3 years old. Simba and Max are 9. All 3 males. And he's got that little limp going on too. Huh.
The other day when Catherine and I were handing out treats, he came flying off of the top of his platform towards the fence and just made this turn. And it was like, oh, that hurt the minute I saw him do it.
Yeah. Well, and you have to remember that they're not used to having this amount of space and freedom and things to climb on. Coming from the circus, they were most likely confined into very small cages most of their life.
And given such poor nutrition, their bones are very, very paper thin.
The suffering that goes on for people's greed is just incredible.
go in through this gate here. We can
Okay.
here's the master.
So I'm going to let you, I think this will work, and then I'll do that. All right.
Daniel was saying Kimba has the biggest whiskers. I had never seen such huge whiskers in my whole life. It was like sticks of spaghetti sticking out of his face.
Mouser.
Yeah, the vet is treating both of those boys for their limps and giving them pain medication. The pain medication both helps with their pain and it kind of makes them dorky so they don't move around a whole lot and gives their body
Go that
some
way.
time to heal.
And Mouser. Mouser, Mouser.
Mouser would be to the left, Alicia would be on the right.
Oh, okay. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Sorry.
I stopped to see if I could see him in the den. No, that was not his dog.
Feel the tug. Well, let's see if perhaps Hutch is out since we're down here. So we make our way back to the golf cart. We'll just see who else is out for us today. And we can check and see if Zukari ate his sickle. It is very quiet back here. Just looking to see if Aries is he in his den. Be careful through there. All right. Servals are not cooperating.
50 cats out here, but I don't see.
Up. Straight back. Nala? That must be Nala, right? Yeah, because this is Ginger, so that's Nala. Yeah.
Way back there.
She's checking us out from a distance. Looking to see if Ginger's in her ferns over there. She's usually right. There she is. All right, Ginger is right close. Resting in her ferns. Hi, sweetheart. Hi, sweet girl. So Ginger was rescued along with Gilligan and another lynx named Skipper, and Max and Marianne, sorry, not Max, Marianne and Lovey and Thurston, bobcats. And if those names sound familiar, we did name them for Gilligan's Island. And Ginger was the movie star on that show. The glamour girl, the beautiful one. The place that they came from was very horrific for the cats that were kept there. So that's often the case. I wish I could tell you that that's unique to this rescue, but unfortunately that is not true. Usually the circumstances the cats come from, you wouldn't put anybody through that. Dirty, not fed properly, not shelter from the elements. Again, humanity's greed and vanity. I believe that people who are in this business, really cats are just commodities. They don't even really consider that they're a living, sentient being.
Just a piece of fern like right in front of her eyes. There we go. Now we're under
Hi,
it.
pretty girl.
People are singing the Gilligan's Island theme song.
The movie star.
And Elise wants to know if we had one named the Professor.
No, not enough cats to go around, so he got left out. I guess that would be Howard. Howard's the professor. Seems like a good title for him. Aw, sweet girl.
I could just watch cats sleep for hours.
I know.
It's my favorite thing. Them just snoozing away. Watching their little dreams and their feet when they're running. Like, oh, I hope you're having a good dream.
I'm sure she is.
Becca says her kids left, but she's still here. Bella says it's like nap time for her.
We appreciate kids of all ages, young and old. Oh, look, just looking again to see if, don't want to miss Aries if he came out. Well, as we make our way back, we may see if Zukari ate his sickle. You want to go back and see Nala? In just a few minutes.
Everybody was excited to see her. We haven't seen her in a while.
Nala! Hi there. I usually see you from a distance on tours, if I see you at all. Oh, that was a good hiss. Oh yeah, there's another one. Keep going. Those are good. So Nala was a former pet, and she was inherited.
Des just came up too.
I don't think I've ever. Okay,
Him?
no offense to you, Nala, but I don't know that I've ever really gotten to have any time with Des. So those of you that don't know, Des is a serval who has only 3 legs, and he was found in the desert in Arizona. What a no. And basically it's believed that he was privately owned, and even though publicity was put out and so forth, nobody ever came to claim him. So, hi there. I know you're looking at me like I don't know you. Never seen you before. It's amazing to me, that spirit, how he can persevere.
He's the only serval that doesn't have a roof on his cage because he can jump
right.
so high, but he can't jump.
He can't jump. Aw. Yeah, imagine being able to push off those back legs is key to that. You might be noticing, we were talking about this the other day with servals, that very Egyptian looking profile that he has. Those long legs and those tall ears. It's nice to see you, Des. It's so peaceful, sometimes I don't want to talk.
I know when I go out by myself, a lot of times there's just dead air because...
So you can see how he's managing to get along there with that back leg missing. That's really something. Really something to be able to persevere like that. Well, hello there. Oh my goodness. Marianne, thank you. I haven't seen you in so long, Marianne. I forgot. Aw, handsome boy.
What was that little noise? That was a cute little noise. I got a question. Aren't caracals and mountain lions considered the highest or longest jumpers?
Caracals are, I believe, vertically up in the air, whereas a mountain lion is more like a long jump.
And I think the snow leopards even got it on mountain lions for the jump.
Yeah, caracals are known for being able to catch birds, multiples, from one leap from the ground to the air. Thank you for being out today.
I don't usually get this quiet time with him because when I do go out, they're giving out meds, and
Oh.
so he just runs over, grabs the food, and runs
Ah.
back. So I get him just being quiet. Yes, his leg had actually been surgically removed prior to him being dumped, so we know he didn't escape from anywhere. hopping around through
No, he
like that.
didn't. Yeah.
Somebody just threw him out.
Oh, that's awful. So the moral of this story today, adopt kittens, like a kitten cabana. Plenty of domestic kittens out there needing a home. No need to purchase hybrids or exotics. Admire them, but you don't need to live with them. And they don't need to live with you. Something has his attention. Oh, there's a truck. That's or a
compete with
cart.
that.
Yeah, can't compete with cart that might have food. All right. Well, I think we're about up for our hour today, everybody. It's been wonderful sharing this with you again, and have a perfectly awesome day.
Thank you.